Hi, my name is Jack Wurth. I'm from Torrance, California, and I previously marched Pacific Crest 2016, 17, 19, Mandarins 18, Dark Sky Percussion 17, and RCC 18, 19, and 20. And I'm really excited to go inside the shot with Russ today.
Hi everyone, Russ Tanakaya, bringing you the next edition of Inside the Shot. Today we're going to be featuring a specialist cymbal player in the marching arts. His name is Jack Wurth, and I've been following his career since very early on in the Pacific Crest days. He's been fortunate enough to have taken lots of photos of him over the years, and today we're going to explore several of those kinds of shots. So Jack, welcome to the show. Have a good time, and let's go inside the shot. So this is probably the first picture I took of Jack in competition, and this is so old. I was using my old Canon camera with a bad white balance on it that day, so you're kind of orange and you're not real. But anyway, you and I think that was Andrew Lamond, who was the section leader at the time, was right next to you.
Yeah.
But you are the section leader of the section that I love the most in drum corps and drumline. Tell us about that shot.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a little weird seeing this photo again because that was my very first summer, so it's weird seeing young me again. But yeah, I remember that where that was in the show. That was during our drum feature, and that whole visual phrase was really confusing to learn because I just had it all thrown at me and just had to try and figure it out all together. And it eventually became one of my favorite parts of the show, but I remember it was a nightmare trying to figure that out.
What was the name of that show again?
That was the Union from Pacific Crest 2016.
Okay, yeah, I remember that now. Let's go on to the next shot. So this shot is on the drumline court instead, and Jack is, I believe that's RCC, isn't it?
Yeah, it was RCC 2019.
Very good. Let's talk about that. Is that a lot different playing cymbals on the drumline as opposed to the drum corps?
Yeah, I think so. In my experience, there's definitely a lot more opportunity to sort of experiment and play around with how we go about cymbal playing in the indoor setting, just because it's much closer and you're able to sort of emote and perform more. While as on a drum corps field, it's such a larger scale that usually you tend to kind of just stick to more of, I guess, the basics in a sense. But I really enjoy the performative aspect of indoor, and that you're able to just emote a whole lot more than in drum corps. And in that show in particular, speaking of emoting, that part was, I think, the end of our second movement, and it was just a very high energy, very intense part of the show, as you can tell from my face and also everyone else's behind me. That it was just a really intense moment for all of us, and we just kind of fed off of the energy of each other to just give that all to the audience.
I think that one of the things I've noticed lately, Jack, and I think you've had personal experience of that, is that drumline is going away from cymbals, and drumline is featuring cymbals, and drum corps is going away from cymbals.
Yeah, it's been an unfortunate sort of trend in the past few years, and I am sad to see it happen. But I'm just fortunate for the groups that still choose to field the cymbal line, because I appreciate that they still value what we do as an art form and as a craft.
Right. Well, it's my favorite section, so keep it going.
I'll do my best.
Let's go on to the next shot. So this might be my favorite picture from 2019, especially in the summer. Is this San Antonio that you were taking the picture of? You had just finished a giant crash. I can feel the wind over here. Tell us about that shot.
Yeah, so this is at the very end of our 2019 production of Pacific Crest. So it's just very high energy, and all of the cymbals behind the pit in the show, we had this little sort of like ramp stage, and the cymbals actually started on the stage, and it's kind of cool that we also got to end on it, which I was really excited to find out. And yeah, that visual was like right in the middle of a visual we had just right after a crash, where we would punch up and then punch down. So it's very, very high energy, as you can tell from my face, as well as everything else about me. But yeah, the ending of that show was still one of like the coolest experiences I've ever had in drum corps, just being able to be already on the stage of the field, but even on that, being even again on a literally raised stage behind the pit, just like front and center. It's just one of the coolest experiences I've been fortunate to have over my marching career.
I'm sorry. I'm not sure if fans really knew, but that show was originally designed to feature cymbals, and there were going to be 10 players, right? And I remember we didn't quite make it. We started the season with 8, which is still twice as big as anybody else. And we ended up with 6 or something like that. What happened there?
Yeah, so the original plan for the season was 10, which is a lot in my personal opinion. I have never marched with any more than 5, so that was an experience. We unfortunately weren't able to find 10, but we were able to get 8, which was still a lot. But unfortunately, we had some health complications with a few of our members throughout the season, and we unfortunately had to send them home, which left us with a line of 6, which is, in my opinion, is still very large for a drum corps cymbal line. So it was a very interesting experience to play with that many cymbal players on the field at once.
Great, thank you. Let's go on to the next shot. And here's another iconic Jack shot. This show was about the spice or something like that. And
yeah,
this scene is all about the theme. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so that is also from RCC 2019, and the title of the show was "He Who Controls the Universe." And we kind of drew a lot of aesthetic inspiration from Dune, which is an old sci-fi book series and movie. And in that whole universe, like, everyone wants the spice. Like, if you have the spice, you have power, and like, he who controls the spice controls the universe in a sense. So like, everyone wants it. And in that part of the show, I'm supposed to sort of be like come over by my sort of addiction or desire for this spice, and that, which is inside the box. And so I'm like trying to get to it, but all of the movement ensemble, who is supposed to be sort of the physical personification of our sort of lust for power, and just sort of that internal, but in the sense of our show, like the physical struggle of dealing with that sort of desire to get the spice. And I had a lot of fun with that, and especially working with Liz, who I think is the person who's like about to yank me away from it. I just had the best time working with her to create that whole moment. It was so much fun.
Yeah, Liz is another member of Pacific Crest too, a trumpet player, and she's got Jack by the hair in that scene. I think she chased you around the floor in that entire show.
I just told her to go for it because that was the only way that we were just going to get I felt the moment that we needed.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Available, because I was a woodwind player in high school, and there are no woodwinds in drum corps, so cymbals was the next best thing that I could do. And so I just auditioned for it and kind of went in not really knowing what I was getting myself into. Looking back at my experience in 2016, just very much just thrown into the fire. But, you know, kind of after surviving that and realizing like the joy of like, you know, what I got from it, and like the passion of the other cymbal players around me, and realizing like, oh, this is what I want to do. Just like to be here with these other people who are just as passionate about cymbal playing as me, and we're all just performing together, which was really what kind of set me down. Like, this is what I'm going to do.
Maybe in the past, cymbal players in some level of this activity are people that, okay, they got cut from the snare line or something like that. But at this level, at WGI world class, at DCI's world class, these cymbal performers are truly virtuosos of their craft. And when you watch them, especially from a photographer standpoint, since we're right there on the field, they emote at an entirely different level than a lot of those other kinds of players. And maybe that's why some people are getting rid of them today. But at this level, it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I can definitely say from my experience personally, and the other people that I know, like, we like live and breathe cymbal playing. Like, that's the only thing we come out here to do, and that's all we're gonna do. And so like, you really find people who are truly passionate about this. And it is unfortunate that there are, you know, groups or, you know, removing cymbal lines for whatever reason they may be. And I feel that, you know, it kind of makes it all the more special to kind of hold on to what I do, to, you know, keep it alive in a sense, because it is sort of like a dying art in a sense, if you want to call it that, which, you know, makes the people who are that passionate about it all the more important.
Well, I want to thank Jack Wurth for joining us this afternoon and sharing his cymbal journey with us. It's certainly a unique perspective, and I appreciate it very much. So, Jack, Thank you so much for spending some time with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. It was really fun to go inside the shot with you. And I just want to thank you, Russ, for inviting me, and also just all the support you've given me and the rest of the Pacific Crest cymbal line over the years. It means the world to all of us. And I can confidently speak for all of us in saying that you are definitely considered family to all of us. Thank you. Yeah!